Welcome to the Concept Vibes channel, TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. I just wanna let you know you're welcome to the Concept Vibes channel, TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Put your comments down below. Much love to all the viewers out the video. This here is a TikTok reaction show. Don't give you the content.
Alright, y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy LED, and we finna get into it. Look, I done waited long enough for everybody to add their little 2 cents. And just like Uncle Sam, I done went around and collect everybody 2 cents, just for you. And we finna sit back and review these Super Bowl breakdowns as a collective, as a whole. Let's go.
Adults, y'all are gonna have to do more than just party. It makes no sense how many heads Kendrick's performance went over. I knew when I seen the way Samuel Jackson was dressed, I said, oh, okay. And then he said, hey, it's your Uncle Sam. Hello, bitch, tap in. Then he proceeds to say, this is the great American game. A lot of you aren't tapped in as much as you think you are tapped in. Y'all don't know what the Super Bowl really is. Like, this shit is like the movies y'all like to watch, Hunger Games, Squid Games, all that shit. This shit is one big ass game. The pilot, all of this is one big ass game. Even down when Kendrick said the revolution will be televised, but they picked the wrong guy. Come on. Then let's talk about the flag that he made with all the black people. One, I took it as this nation was built off our backs, off our ancestors' backs. Then with him in the middle shows that we are divided. He even says that when he says before he performed Not Like Us, he said it's a cultural divide. This is bigger than the music. I don't see how y'all didn't catch what type of time it was. They distract the hell out of y'all. And then the fact that he performed the TV off at the end. This is how, when that television came, this is how they program y'all. The television is how they fucking program you, y'all. Like that is another form, that is another way that they use to distract you. That's another way that they harvest your energy from the television. Turn the damn TV off. But then let's go back a little bit. Remember, if you listen to how Samuel Jackson is narrating the performance. No, it's too ghetto. No, oh no, it's too much. Like, y'all weren't tapped in. They literally, it's crazy because the Super Bowl is seen as like a celebration, right? We get together, we eat these foods, you know, the food, we drink, we have a nice motherfucking time. We're not really like consciously tapped in on another level. Like, all this shit is an agenda. That's the point. That's all their point. That shit they did with this app, that shit was down for 12 hours. They're sitting here watching all of us like a damn movie. Like, y'all really have to tap in. This is a different type of time. And Kendrick had an entire message with that. Like Samuel Jackson said, no, it's too calm. No, that's not. This is what America wants. They want us to be calm. All these things. And then Kendrick proceeds to do Not Like Us, because it's also, I took it as him, it's like the country contradicts itself. Like, oh, peace, everyone gets along, make America great. And then they go and start shit. They go and bring war, they violence, all of these things. This shit is bigger than the music, like what Kendrick said. If you just watch what Kendrick did in the entire 2024 and the things that he was exposing, like, come on, y'all gotta tap in on another type of level. There's no reason that shit went over y'all heads unless y'all wanted to. And if it went over your head, understand, those that was like, oh, it's boring. Oh, we should have got Wayne. One, I don't know if y'all see the update, the 2025 performances of Lil Wayne. Yeah, okay, still GOAT, still legend. Understand that if that performance went over your heads, if you was one of the people that's like, oh, it's so boring, we want to dance, we want to have a good time, bitch, you part of the problem.
Yeah, I feel about them TVs, because like every TV show is a TV program that we download when we watch and listen. It wasn't creepy to me. I expected it.
Everyone online expressing how much they did not enjoy Kendrick's halftime performance. Let me just say this to you. He doesn't care. He doesn't care whether we liked that performance or not. And I know this because he opened up the most important performance of his career with unreleased music. The man doesn't care. And then he proceeded to use almost all of his time to perform GNX, an album that just came out. He does not care. That performance, if you know anything about Kendrick and you've been following his career, that performance was the most Kendrick Lamar thing I have ever seen. That he took the most important performance of his career, the most important moment of his career, to say F mainstream media. And you know what else? Within 24 hours, he has already surpassed Usher's YouTube views within 24 hours. He already won. He don't care.
Kendrick, he gonna do what he want. If you know about Kendrick, if you're familiar with Kendrick, he gonna do what he want, while at the same time doing what he feel he need to do. Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg has called out Kendrick Lamar over his Super Bowl halftime show performance, which is getting a lot of backlash. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show has sparked significant backlash online, with fans and critics divided over his controversial performance. Kendrick, who became the first solo hip-hop artist to headline the halftime show, took the stage at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans on February 9th, delivering a set that blended his biggest hits with bold statements. However, not everyone was impressed. The backlash wasn't limited to the song choice. Critics also took issue with the overall tone of the performance, saying there was an agenda behind it and self-indulgent. Despite the criticism, Kendrick's fans defended him fiercely online. Supporters argued that his performance was bold and authentic, showcasing his artistry and storytelling abilities. Many pointed out that Kendrick has always been unapologetically himself, and that expecting him to deliver a generic pop-friendly halftime show was unrealistic. As discussions about Kendrick's halftime show continue to dominate social media, it's clear that his performance has left audiences divided. While some hail it as one of the most daring halftime shows in recent memory, others argue it missed the mark for an event meant to unite viewers. And now, even Mark Wahlberg has spoken out on all of the backlash the performance is getting. In Mark's comment underneath a video of the halftime show, Mark said, "It missed the mark for me." It seems that Mark didn't enjoy the performance, and he would have preferred someone else do the show instead of Kendrick. People have praised Mark for this comment because it's certainly going to cause a huge amount of controversy to see such a big star openly diss Kendrick's performance. A lot of people are definitely on Mark's side, and they think it was the most boring halftime show of all time, and they would have rather have seen somebody like Morgan Wallen perform at the halftime show instead of Kendrick Lamar. For this video's comment question, did his performance cross the line?
Say Mark. Nah, but for real, I like Mark. I like his work. I don't agree with him, but he's entitled to his opinion.
That was the worst Super Bowl halftime show I've ever seen, and Kendrick fans are...
So, I've never been a social guy, right? Like, I've been blessed to where my friends today have found me rather than me venturing out and finding them. But the times that I have gone out to be social and try to make new friends, I regret it with my extreme personality, because if I meet somebody and I realize that it's not going to work, like we can't be friends, I assume that, well, fuck it, that was a waste of time. I'm never going to do that again. I can be my own friend. It's fine, right? So I say all of that because when I see videos like that, I'm so appreciative, because if I ever find myself to be outgoing and searching for friends again, I know to cross him off the list. There's nothing for us to be friends about. The people that are actively posting online right now talking about, that's the worst halftime show I've ever seen, like the Rob Smith guy, that dude. For Rob Smith, since I brought him up, I compare him to like how transgender people, for example, they've shared that they just feel like they were born in the wrong body and they need to be the other gender, like it's a true feeling that they have, right? I feel like Rob Smith is just craving to be a white man. Like he just cannot make it to tomorrow unless he is as white as possible. You know, like they have already humiliated that man, and he's sitting here talking about how it's the worst halftime show ever, whatever the fuck. And then you have the guy on Fox who was like, the Super Bowl halftime show was just a demonstration of white guilt in America, like all this dumb shit. I want to make a point here. Kendrick Lamar could have started the Super Bowl halftime show with a more recognizable song, like Swimming Pools. I feel like everybody's heard Swimming Pools, or Money Trees, or you can probably name 10 songs that people are more readily familiar with. But I think that he opened the show that way, not only with a snippet, but a longer version of the snippet than he even gave us in the video. I think he opened it that way so that the people who weren't meant to get the message, they just tune out automatically. When you start off with that shit, you know what I'm saying? We go body for body, you know what I'm saying? When you start off with that, I just know that old white people across the country just turned it off, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that was intentional, you know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna be one of the people that just wants to ignore the sheer greatness of that halftime show because you expected some la-di-da performance and you just missed the message entirely, fuck a performance. He sent a message. And now that I think about it, this isn't the first time that messages have just gone over y'all's heads or you just ignore it completely. But to sit there and be like, that was the worst halftime show I've ever seen, when I know for a fact that that was the best halftime show I've ever seen in my life, I just know that we could never be friends. Thank you for saving me the time. We don't have to like hang out and go to the same event or nothing. It's rap. So I appreciate you. My time is my most valuable asset and you just saved me some of it. So thank you. Another point I want to make is I've seen this before firsthand. When black people or people of color are in the spotlight in that sense, there will always be that certain type of person, you know who I'm talking about, that just looks like it and goes, But then when you ask them about it, they'll never just come out and say, yeah, I'm fucking racist. They'll never say it. But every time one of them isn't in the spotlight and somebody else has the spotlight, they have this disdain about them. You get what I'm saying? I've seen this even to the point where me personally, I've seen it to where I made a better grade than somebody's son or somebody's daughter. And it gets out like, oh, he made this grade, he did great on the test, yada, yada, yada. He's intelligent. And because I did better than their kid, they feel a way towards me or they feel like the test was rigged. No bullshit. I've gone through this in my personal life when I was in school multiple times. Do you know how many white people have looked at me and gone, wow, you're so well spoken? And it's not like in a compliment sense. It's in a like, oh my God. It's almost in a like, oh my God, you can speak sense, like genuinely. So I know what it is when they see that halftime show and they say, I don't like it. Because they feel like that should be them and their culture and their music. And nobody else should ever get that shot to send their message or show their talent. But then when the Super Bowl came back on and it was the third quarter, they were right back cheering for those athletes, hoping that their team wins. But then when you play music from that athlete's culture, or somebody that has the same skin color as that same athlete who you probably bought a jersey for to support them and cheer them on, now you have a problem with it. And that's white guilt on display in America. Like, the way y'all try to say that everybody makes everything about race, but then here you are on Fox News saying that the halftime show was just a portrayal of how we try to push white guilt in America. Who's making it about race exactly? Kendrick Lamar is talented. The fact that you can't grasp all the things that he packs into his music also lets me know we could never be friends, and that's fine. But let's just stop the cap to say that that wasn't an impeccable halftime show. With Samuel Jackson's commentary throughout it, saying that it's too ghetto, just stay calm, give them what they like. How he teased Not Like Us all the way up until he actually performed it. The rawness to look into the camera and say, hey, say Drake, a year later, I'm still on your ass. For y'all to just knock that down is insane to me. Lastly, to all the white people that love the halftime show, I love you. I don't know what it is, but something about white people enjoying hip hop and hip hop culture that I saw a video of a white lady damn near crip walking in front of her flat screen TV to the halftime show. Martin had a dream. What the fuck? Martha was damn near throwing up gang signs. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I'm saying? America politically is in the shitter, but there's still things to smile at for now. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar, for the greatest halftime show I've ever seen. Anybody who disagrees, I don't know how you're viewing this video. You should have blocked me a long time ago, brother.
Oh, I mean, well, it definitely wasn't boring for me. It's just interesting to see how much this pulled out of so many different types of people. This one show, this one man, for 13 minutes, has pulled millions of opinions, reactions out of people of all types.
Whether it's a war tour or whether it was 500 people at Key Club, I've always had a form of that. So I like to always carry on that sense of, you know, make people listen, but also see and think a little.
The moment Kendrick Lamar hit the stage at the Super Bowl, fans immediately started dissecting every detail, especially the mysterious A chain he was wearing. At first glance, it seemed like just another piece of jewelry. But this is Kendrick. We're talking about nothing he does is accidental. And that A? Yeah, it had the internet in full conspiracy mode. Some fans quickly linked it to Drake, suggesting that the letter A could be a subliminal shot at Aubrey Drake's real name. Others pointed out that it might reference the A minor line from Not Like Us, fueling speculation that this was just another layer in their ongoing rap battle. Given how calculated Kendrick is, it's not impossible that he knew this would stir up theories. But here's where it gets interesting. What if the A wasn't about Drake at all? What if this was all about PG Lang, Kendrick's creative company? If you've paid attention to their branding, PG Lang frequently uses the letter A in its designs. And Kendrick has always been intentional about weaving his business moves into his artistic statements. With millions watching, what better way to promote his brand than on one of the biggest stages in entertainment? Of course, Kendrick knew people would debate the meaning of the chain. Whether it was a Drake jab, a PG Lang flex, or both, it had people talking, which means mission accomplished. But that's just the beginning. Because while the A chain was subtle, there were other moments in this performance that were straight up bold, including a petty but hilarious jab that had social media in shambles. If the A chain had fans speculating, then Serena Williams hitting the walk during Kendrick's performance, that was straight up calculated comedy. For those who might not know, Serena and Drake have history, and not the good kind. Back in 2015, they were spotted getting cozy at a restaurant, and for a while it seemed like they were more than just friends. But whatever they had didn't last, and years later, Drake took a random, unprovoked shot at Serena's husband, Alexis Ohanian, on his 2022 track Middle of the Ocean. He rapped, "Sidebar, Serena, your husband a groupie." Serena and Alexis, being the classy duo they are, didn't engage in the drama. But fast forward to the Super Bowl, and Serena was on that stage walking to the biggest Drake diss track of the decade, Not Like Us. And let's be honest, whether it was intentional or not, it probably was, it was hilarious. The moment felt like a full circle clapback. Years after Drake tried to disrespect her marriage, Serena is casually hitting the walk on national TV to a song roasting him. It's the kind of irony that hip-hop loves an ex publicly celebrating a diss track against you. Brutal. Yeah, SZA, the same SZA that Drake admitted to dating back in 2009. So now you've got two of Drake's exes vibing on stage during a performance dedicated to tearing him down. If there was ever a "your past will come back to haunt you" moment, this was it. But here's the thing. While all of this was hilarious and messy, it was still just the surface-level entertainment of Kendrick's performance. Because beneath the petty shots and viral moments, Kendrick was crafting something way deeper, something that wasn't just about Drake, but about the entire system of the entertainment industry itself. All right, the Drake disses and the Serena walk were petty, hilarious, and viral worthy. But here's what most people missed. Kendrick Lamar wasn't just using this performance to roast an industry rival, he was calling out the entire system itself. The biggest clue? Samuel L. Jackson dressed as Uncle Sam. At first, it just seemed like a cool intro. Samuel L. Jackson, a legendary actor, dramatically introducing Kendrick. But when you really break it down, it's a genius calculated move. Jackson wasn't just playing any character, he was literally embodying Uncle Sam, the long-standing symbol of the US government and authority. And here's why that's important. Uncle Sam represents the very system Kendrick has spent his entire career critiquing. Since day one, Kendrick has been vocal about systemic oppression, financial exploitation, and the way Black culture is used, controlled, and monetized by powerful institutions. His 2015 album, To Pimp a Butterfly, was built around these themes, with songs like Wesley's Theory breaking down the financial traps that keep Black artists in cycles of debt while the industry profits off their success. And now, on the biggest stage in America, Kendrick brings that message full circle by placing himself face-to-face with Uncle Sam, the system that both allows and controls his success. Think about it. The Super Bowl is one of the most corporate-controlled, highly policed entertainment events in the world. Everything is curated to be digestible for a mainstream American audience. Performers don't get on that stage unless the industry wants them there. And yet Kendrick somehow turned his halftime performance into a direct critique of the very system that put him on that stage. Then came the moment that solidified everything. Samuel L. Jackson, in character as Uncle Sam, tells Kendrick, "Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto." This wasn't just a line, it was a statement about how Black artists are treated in the entertainment industry. They're embraced only as long as they play the game, but the moment they become too disruptive, too political, or too unapologetically themselves, the system pushes back. And how does Kendrick respond? By completely ignoring Uncle Sam and launching into Not Like Us. That moment wasn't just petty, it was symbolic. It was Kendrick actively rejecting the system's attempt to control him, cutting off the establishment's voice, and doing exactly what they don't want him to do. It was the perfect example of what Kendrick has always been about: questioning the rules, exposing the system, and refusing to be silenced. By now, it's clear that Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance wasn't just a halftime show, it was a statement. But one of the most overlooked details in the entire performance? The white outfits. At first glance, you might think Kendrick and his dancers were just going for a clean, uniform aesthetic. But knowing how calculated Kendrick is, there's no way this was just a fashion choice. One of the most debated theories? The outfits were a direct reference to the Ku Klux Klan and America's history of racial oppression. Think about it. Kendrick was performing Not Like Us, a song built around defiance, while being surrounded by a sea of dancers dressed in all white, moving in perfect synchronization. The imagery alone carries a heavy message, especially considering how hip-hop has historically called out America's treatment of Black people, from Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted to Tupac's critiques of systemic racism. The idea that Kendrick might be flipping the script on America's whitewashed history makes complete sense, especially at an event like the Super Bowl, where the NFL has a long history of controversies involving race, Black athletes, and censorship. And if you think that's a stretch, just look at how Colin Kaepernick's story ties into this. The NFL essentially blackballed Kaepernick after he took a knee to protest police brutality. And here we are years later, with Kendrick Lamar, one of the most outspoken artists on racial injustice, standing on that very stage, using the NFL's own platform to highlight the same issues they tried to silence. It's almost like Kendrick was saying, I know what country this is, I know how the system works, and I know exactly where we stand. And then, just when the message couldn't get clearer, Samuel L. Jackson drops another line before Kendrick launches into Not Like Us. That's what America wants. Once again, Uncle Sam is trying to control the narrative, almost mocking Kendrick's performance by suggesting that the audience only wants entertainment, not a message. But Kendrick wasn't there to play by the rules. Just like before, he interrupts the system in real time, cutting off Uncle Sam's voice and diving straight into the most rebellious moment of the entire show. And this right here, this is what makes Kendrick different. He doesn't just tell you something, he shows you. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, the system controlling black artists, the dancers in white. A possible reference to America and systemic control, cutting off Uncle Sam before Not Like Us, defying the establishment in real time. But if you think that was the end of Kendrick's message, think again. Because what he did at the very end of the performance was arguably the most powerful statement of them all. If there was one moment in Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance that truly sealed his message, it was the very last one when he ended with TV off. Now, if you were just watching casually, this might have seemed like a random way to close the show. But knowing Kendrick, every move is intentional. So let's break down exactly what he was saying by choosing to finish with that song. It's not just about turning off the television, it's about tuning out the distractions, the media narratives, and the illusion that entertainment creates. The Super Bowl is the biggest media spectacle in America, pulling in millions of viewers, and corporations spend billions to be a part of it. Everything from the game to the ads to the halftime show is designed to keep people watching, consuming, and staying locked into the system. By ending his set with TV off, Kendrick was challenging that entire idea. Turn the TV off. Stop letting the media control your perception. See the bigger picture. And here's where it gets even deeper. This wasn't just a general message, it was specifically aimed at Black America. For decades, the media has controlled the narrative around Black artists, Black athletes, and Black culture as a whole. They shape how the world sees Black figures, who gets to be the hero, who gets villainized, and who gets silenced. The entertainment industry thrives off of Black creativity, but when Black artists try to take control of their own narrative, that's when the system pushes back. So by closing his performance with TV off, Kendrick wasn't just telling people to unplug, he was telling them to stop letting the system define their reality. Stop letting corporations decide what's important. Stop letting the media control the story. Stop believing everything you're fed through a screen. And think about how genius that is. Kendrick used the Super Bowl, a media event designed to distract people, to tell them to wake up. It was the ultimate irony. He got on the biggest stage in America just to tell people not to trust it. Most people only saw what was on the surface, a high-energy performance, some viral moments, and a lot of controversy. But when you really break it down, this was Kendrick doing what he's always done, using his platform to send a message. The A-Chain could have been a Drake diss, could have been PG Lang promo, but either way it sparked conversation. Serena Williams walking to Not Like Us, a hilarious full-circle moment that added even more layers to the Drake rivalry. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, a direct representation of the system that controls Black artists. The white outfits, a possible reference to America and the history of systemic control. Cutting off Uncle Sam before Not Like Us. Kendrick rejecting the system in real time. Ending with TV off, a final message to wake up and stop falling for the distractions. And that's why this wasn't just a performance. This was a cultural moment. Kendrick turned the Super Bowl into a statement about race, power, and control, and most people didn't even realize it. But that's the thing about Kendrick. He's never been about just making hits. He's about making people think. So whether you loved or hated this performance, one thing's for sure, he made sure we were all talking about it. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Kendrick's message was intentional, or are people overanalyzing it? And what was your favorite moment from the performance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button. It helps more people see this video. And if you want more deep dives like this, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out.
Yeah, I would say he's definitely like a abstract, complex, culturalistically aware, poetic artist who knows how to put it in musical form. You know what I mean? It's so many undiscovered layers. They're gonna be breaking this thing down like forever.
Lamar is so talented. Apparently a game took place during his show. This halftime show was pure art, and it was much deeper than a diss to Drake. Let's first address how he says the revolution's about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. We are in the age of revolution, and it's going to be digital. We are no longer falling for the narratives that the mainstream media pushes. He's telling you he's not going to be the one to fall in line, but he's speaking in the form of the collective. We are no longer being docile and conforming to what the government wants. We are standing up for what we believe in. You have Samuel L. Jackson narrating the show as Uncle Sam saying, "Welcome to America's game," which we all know isn't football, but the game that the government plays with us. Samuel L. Jackson says, "Do you really know how to play the game? It's too loud, too ghetto, tighten up." So Kendrick follows it up with, "Sit down, be humble," because that's what America wants from us. Notice how he's in a divided flag representing a divided nation. Yet you have the Crips dressed in blue, Bloods dressed in red coming together united regardless of their differences and hatred towards one another. If you studied every successful revolution in history, unity is the main ingredient. After they're united, Uncle Sam comes by and says, "Oh, I see you brought your homeboys," which is the culture cheat code. Deduct a life. My mind instantly thought of Fred Hampton, how he united rival gangs and the government deducted his life. I also noticed how their sweatsuits look like the ones from Squid Games, which is a representation of capitalism. How people at the bottom continue to fight amongst one another for the money at the top, which accomplishes nothing. Now let's address SZA's performance. When SZA's performing, she's on an inverted triangle, which was symbolic of the feminine goddess energy used in the creation of the world, which often gets left out because of our patriarchal society, which panders towards religious ideologies that make women subservient to men. She's also surrounded by people in red and white sweatsuits, which could be a reference to Handmaid's Tale, where women are also suppressed. Afterwards, Uncle Sam comes back out and says, "Yes, this is what America wants. Nice, calm, don't mess this up." Kendrick responds with 40 acres and a mule, how this is bigger than music. For those of you all who have whitewashed history, those are the 40 acres that were promised to enslave black people. He follows that up by saying, "You can rig the game, but you can't fake influence," which is literally how the music industry and the political system in America is set up. This halftime show met history at the right moment. Kendrick used his influence on the greatest stage in front of the leader of our country to remind you all to stand up for what you believe in. He performed not like us, knowing he would face consequences, but he did it anyway. What's even more iconic is he brings out Serena Williams and she crip walks on stage, which she was scolded for after winning a tennis match. This performance was a message of defiance to the collective consciousness and a reminder that it is us versus them. Last but not least, after he performed Turn the TV Off, I hope you turned your TV off, because it's time we stop willingly watching the distractions that are dividing us and start focusing on the people who are truly dividing us.
Okay, he had a pretty good breakdown. Y'all let me know what y'all think about his in the comments.
MAGA meltdown. Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Put it up, full mass. When I tell you this was beautifully done. MAGA is melting down over Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime message, not performance. It was a message in performance by the Grammy winners' performance, including appearances by Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam, Serena Williams crip walking to a song about an ex-boyfriend that was diabolical. Colorado, oh man, Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert was quick to complain. Put it up. Tell me I'm not the only one needing subtitles for this. No, ma'am, you're not. You see, you're not enlightened. I'll put it back up, please. You're not enlightened, ma'am. This message was for the enlightened. I'm going to read what other unenlightened individuals who are not open to the reality of their solution. You're looking at your solution during that halftime show. I will break it down for you. Right-wing commentators, Eric Daughtry, Benny Johnson, took their criticisms to the extreme, describing the performance as black nationalist, and calling Lamar a, quote, mumbling pagan satanic cultist. Mumbling pagan satanic cultist. Okay. Guys, to the extreme conservatives who have decided to chime in on the polarization of evil in reference to what they still deem a performance by calling our dear brother Kendrick Lamar some kind of pagan Satanist, when the evidence is contrary. He is a beacon of light, if you're able to accept it. But, you know, the NFL has done far worse atrocities than what you are talking about in your current commentary. I mean, Colin Kaepernick, did you blame the NFL for what they have done to marginalize Black voices or women, abuse victims. No. You only came up with this religious mumbo jumbo when a Black man told you the truth and happened to have a smile while doing it. Conservative commentator Matt Walsh described the performance as, quote, easily the worst halftime show we had ever seen. Now, don't they say this every year? Yeah, they do. Disgraced former Congressman Matt Gaetz chimed in. Wow. The halftime show you just watched is clearly the regime's response to Trump's historic gains with Black men. Now, his comment was not the highlight of this post. It was actually Mr. Brian Tyler. In response to Matt Gaetz' response to the halftime show, Brian Tyler said, quote, I hear you like I'm young, end quote. Well played, sir. Well played. Another former representative, George Santos, you know, the prolific criminal. I mean, this cat, wow, was more direct. The Super Bowl halftime show was absolute trash. Now, what do all of these individuals have in common? MAGA. They are not for solutions. They are not able to be critiqued. They do not like light. What is light? Light is information. Light is information to break the shackles. Light is truth. They don't want truth. They want propaganda. Now, see, if Kendrick Lamar would have come out singing proud to be an American, oh my God, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, the white kind. Ben Shapiro. Icing on the cake right here. No pun intended, Ben. My halftime show review. Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying. But I just say this, good luck, live in peace. I know, dear brother, you see, he's speaking a language that you don't. It's called real-ish. And if you're not versed in real-ish conversations, then the language is foreign to you. But I appreciate you telling the truth. Let's break down the imagery here. Put it up full mass. Kendrick Lamar, coming from the background of gang culture, I do myself understand the polarization that is required to navigate egos, check egos, and sometimes finesse egos to survive. The symbolism many of them missed from Kendrick Lamar's epic Super Bowl halftime show was the reality of our gang divisions in the United States of America. I'm not talking about Crips and Blood. I'm talking about us. The gangsters that are truly terrifying, that create your policies that kill your mama. Those are the gangsters that he's talking about. There's this division, this fluid, chaotic division, but we are all in the same space, but divided. And what are we really divided by? Because the colors don't divide us. See, the colors create a category. What divides us is our response to our experiences, exposures, and environments. You see, as a social scientist as well, I believe truly that a person is made up of those three E's, myself included. You change experiences, exposures, and environments, you all of a sudden change a person's perspective. This is why they're fighting hard to make sure you cannot disrupt their normative and privileged experiences, exposures, and environment. Because if you do that, you thus start transforming the person. Uncle Sam, our brother did a wonderful job. He was supposed to represent the sanitized America. Samuel L. Jackson played this role very well. The America that makes most of the Super Bowl viewers comfortable. That's why he said, quote, "too ghetto" before Not Like Us started playing, and then he was silenced. He was all part of that interplay. If you are bothered by the halftime show being boring, he was there for you. He was enlightening you to the reality of what you are here for. You are here for entertainment, not information, not truth. And so he was that character in the halftime show that allowed everyone, if they were able to get it, we all understand it, that this is intentional, that this is going to make y'all comfortable. All right, so Jackson's Uncle Sam said that Lamar's performance was, quote, "too ghetto," telling him to, quote, "tighten up." That was in the beginning. Before flashing back to his dancers taking shape of the American flag. As one user wrote on X, the creativity alone serves as a perfect example as why Kendrick won that Pulitzer in the first place. Now, remember, typically, if there are Black people on stage dancing, the right is concerned about or complaining about body movement, body features, lack of clothing, lack of class, taste, appropriateness. But none of that was a complaint. Boring. That's all they said. Now, the entire performance was obviously steeped in American imagery on an incredibly deep level, from dancers dressed in the colors of the American flag to Jackson narrating Lamar's journey playing the great American game. He then said, quote, "I want to perform their favorite song, but you know, they love to sue," end quote. Naturally, this sent the internet into a frenzy with fans shocked just how frank Lamar was at that moment. And in case you forgot, last month, Drake filed a defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group, claiming that UMG approved and helped promote the false factual allegation that the headlined rapper was or is a certified, quote, certified pedophile, as Lamar raps in Not Like Us. A truly difficult moment to digest was this one. Okay, when I saw Serena Williams, not on the sideline, not in the crowd, but on the stage, part of the performance, when Kendrick Lamar finally performed Not Like Us, the camera quickly moved over to Serena, who was seen dancing to the song. Williams dated Drake 2 years ago. Now, let me say this, all right? We got to stop this. This may be too much for our brother Drake. I mean, damn it, man. I've been saying for years, and people thought I was hating on Drake. I said Drake is the #1 rapper out of Canada. But when we put him up against the greatest of all times, I said, you're setting him up. You're setting him up. What is he doing now? No offense to my Canadian viewers, but he's acting real Canadian in hip hop right now. And that's cool because he's Canadian. But to have your ex-girlfriend crip walking on a stage when the song is about you liking minders, oh my goodness, man. All right, Waz.
I mean, to get back to the right wingers for a sec, I think if you're Kendrick Lamar in this camp, you woke up very happy this morning knowing that who your greatest critics were the exact right people right. To be pissed off. Like, that goes without saying. These guys don't get it. Just the idea that this was boring, I think, is crazy. The guy obviously put on a performance, well thought out, very brilliantly executed. And the bottom line is the guy had one of the biggest years a rapper's ever had in the history of the genre. And so the idea that he didn't belong on that stage and performing his artistry in a way that he deemed most appropriate is just crazy to me. Like, he earned that moment and he did with it what he's always done in his career. He's always been big on the symbolism and messaging about America and especially places like Compton where he grew up. And, you know, that goes without saying. In terms of the performance and, like, you know, vanquishing his enemies and Drake and others, like, the message was sent, the message was clear. It's definitely a victory lap of proportions that we've never seen. And yeah, I don't know how you watch that and not think this guy put a lot of time, effort, and talent into what he did. And I thought it was a flawless execution of all of those things. And, you know, if Ben Shapiro doesn't get it, you probably did the right thing with your halftime show performance.
That's right. The problem would be if you agreed with any of those individuals that disagreed with the halftime show, you need to look in the mirror because you're not in good company. All right, and big ups to Kendrick, first rapper to solo an entire halftime show. Big ups to him. He earned it, and he is doing it with a credible message. All right.
It's crazy, claiming it's boring, claiming it's trash, but it still touch you though. It feel like when it touched them the wrong way or the right way, it touched everybody. Everybody. Trash and boring. Still got your energy. You still on it. Why? Why talk about something that's trash? Why talk about something that's boring? Why waste your time? Change the channel. Do something else. Get a life.
I now understand that halftime show. Let me explain it to you real quick. Come on. All right, so it went for you. That's why they told you to turn that TV off and you listened. That's why, all right? But let me explain it. It was a political statement. It was a political statement with a diss at the end. And if you didn't know Kendrick Lamar's music or his background or anything, it still went for you. It went for you. This is all from the comments section of my last post. This wasn't for you, it wasn't for me, it wasn't for you. It ain't for you, baby. That's okay. I had another guy just tell me I wasn't black enough. Now, that really hurt, but I don't know what can get more political than the first sitting living president coming to the Super Bowl. I feel like that's a big statement, right? Or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. You know, I'm just very aware that I'm not woke enough, and evidently, what does this dumb redneck know? I'm just dumb redneck. But yeah, no, this wasn't for you, so just, you know, get up in the fetal position and just cry and cry because this just wasn't for you, baby.
Yo, I love this woman, man. Shout out to that accent, that hat, and that lamb behind you. With a diss. She said, with a diss. Lips ain't black enough to me.
Hey, did you think the Super Bowl halftime show sucked, or did you think it was great? Listen up, this is Dr. D. Here's my thoughts. I'm sure all of you have seen there's just a number of people that have either expressed their love for it, which I'm a part of that camp, and a large number of people that said it was horrible, it was terrible, it was sucky. I've seen people say 0 out of 10 rating in terms of that. I don't want politics at all in my football games. However, it's important to know what is the intent of the artist in that context. Well, because he bought that time, first of all, this man won several Grammys the week prior to that. He's a Pulitzer Prize writer, so clearly he's not lacking skill or popularity by any means. The issue is this. We are used to artists going on stage and entertaining us to later maybe promote their own material or to increase their viewership, etc. But this person had pure intention in the sense that he's like, I'm here to speak and put a message forth. There's language and codes woven in it that's so common amongst the African-American experience the entire time. In essence, those that get it, and those that don't, or they are not like us. That whole performance was an extension of saying that you all are not a part of the cultural experience that we are going through. And those that are completely understood what was happening. We were looking for the symbols. We were looking for the music. It goes beyond a beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's now ascended to something greater, that it was used as a catalyst, but has now gone to something higher. So, friends, I want to explain from a psychological perspective what's happening in the country right now. Now, We are very aware of the socio-political climate. I'm not going to get into the specifics of talking politics, but you'll know where I'm heading with this. But we all are aware of what's happening. There's an erasure of what's taking place here. There's an erasure of people's history. In the middle, if you notice in the segment with the flag, he was moving left and right. Now, mind you, this is an artistic performance, and I would encourage you to go back and review it from that and ask yourself, what is this person doing? But in the middle of the flag, he put himself there. Not like he is important, but he's representing that this is a black man in the middle of the American story. In order for the country to get to a point of what we call healing and non-divisiveness, you don't get there by erasing someone's history and minimizing and marginalizing someone's perspectives of what's happened and currently happening. There's a psychological term called cognitive denial. And what cognitive denial means, friends, is simply this. Cognitive denial is the phenomenon in which someone is hearing or seeing or processing information that goes against their way of viewing the world or wanting to view the world. What we saw that night and what we are seeing right now as people reflect on the Super Bowl halftime show, especially if you're having a visceral reaction to the performance, is cognitive denial. People are wanting to deny, in droves, wanting to deny what is the history of the country and what is currently happening. In essence, it's a cultural gaslighting, so to speak. So, not to bring shame, guilt, or condemnation to people, but I would like you to think about this if you were a person that did not like that halftime show. Ask yourself this question. Was what I was seeing making me uncomfortable? And if it was making me uncomfortable, why? Secondly, what do I not understand about this person and what they were trying to convey or to explain to me that was making me check out? Thirdly, can I hold space and think about what is this person thinking and going through for them to have to spend millions of dollars to not do an entertainment-based thing to promote his own work and to promote his album, but to spread a message? Whether you like it or not, Kendrick Lamar who is, again, a Pulitzer-winning, Grammy-winning artist. Kendrick Lamar is of the likes of Langston Hughes, friends. He is our cultural prophet, speaking to what is taking place and happening in the American zeitgeist. And I will say this, whether or not you identify with him being a black man from Compton or whatever the case might be, he is speaking and putting voice and talking to power. And any American that does that, we should be appreciative of that, because that's what this country is founded on. It's protest. This was a protest in a very colorful yet wonderful and polite way. And also, unfortunately, to those of you who believe that politics should not be viewed in entertainment, unfortunately, political activism doesn't care about that. Political activism is aware that you are watching this. Political activism wants and needs you to see this. Political activism wants you to feel uncomfortable. When we are comfortable, folks, people do things to oppress us. Even if you are not a part of the oppressed group, they will come your direction next as well. In essence, it was a social media-based Boston Tea Party, so to speak. So if you're a person that enjoyed it, wonderful, great. And if you're a person that didn't, and you might be wrestling with why that might be, from an honest place, I would encourage you to sit with the discomfort and to check in with other people that might have different perspectives than you, so we can seek an understanding. Folks, in today's world, and I'll get off my soapbox on this, this is Dr. Dante Asad Williams. In today's time specifically, we have to have uncomfortable dialogue. We have to hear and understand each other, whether or not we come from each other's experience or not. Simply denying someone's story does not get to that point where we can heal as a nation and country. So that's my thoughts. I'll continue to talk some more about this, but see you next time.
You know what I mean? If you don't like it, why pay attention to it? Like, why care about it so much if you didn't like it? And if it make you feel some kind of way, yeah, like the man said, why? It's just a Super Bowl show. You there for the game, right? That's what the ticket was for, right? That's what everybody there to see, the game, right? Like the show is a bonus to the game.
So this just shows how far we've come. This is such a win. One of Kendrick Lamar's performers, he was not a random protester that came from the stands. He was one of the dancers who saw an opportunity to protest. So the dance and him being there was not spontaneous, but the protest was. So I'm interested to hear what Kendrick has to say about his dancer being dragged and tackled for doing this.
but at this point, I really don't give a fuck what any celebrities say, so it's not my priority. What I want to talk about is last year during the Super Bowl, we had to literally beg people to give a fuck, to pay attention. Like, we were screaming into the void. We did an Operation Watermelon together where we took over any page that had to do with the Super Bowl. Athletes, performers, sports networks. And this year, it literally was incorporated into a halftime show, like forcing everyone to pay attention. I know sometimes it still feels like we're screaming into the void and a lot of people don't care, but this is progress. This is progress. Everybody who ever has an opportunity during moments like this should do what this person did. But it's just a beautiful thing to see. We're growing in numbers, we're growing in audacity, and it's becoming more and more normalized. I just think that we need to like take in moments like this to realize how far we've come, because this is what can continue to fuel us when we feel hopeless. So shout out to you, you're the MVP.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely crazy. The man just held up a flag, and it wasn't no derogatory language on the flag. It was hearts on the flag. He was actually supposed to be there. Now, the people that hired him didn't know about the flag from what I've researched. That was his personal choice, but I mean, it's a flag. Come on, man, it's a flag. What? Who is it hurting? Tackled him, man. Banned him for life from any NFL operation. The man is banned for life. Can't even show up and see a game if he just want to. That shit crazy.
Kendrick's message at the Super Bowl was extremely important, and as an oracle, as somebody who can see into the other side and see the chess pieces and see the bigger picture, I'm not able to see everything, but I can see a lot, and that's enough for me to be able to inform myself and others around me. It is very important. The message is not just be loud, be authentic, tell the system to fuck itself, because there are no consequences. And it's an illusion of consequences, but there are no consequences. They can only take down a small portion of us, because there's so many of us. They don't have that many resources. It's like very interesting the way that he like put it. It's like I don't know how to like materialize that, okay? But it's basically he's saying, hey, you are the system. You are the system, and there are different parts of the system that you are playing into, and so you need to change the game, is basically what he's saying. Like this is a message that I continuously get from my guides, and the other side, it's like, listen, you're playing a game, but you have to realize that they are trying to get you to play their game, and you must play your game. He is playing his own game at their game. They thought he was playing their game, but he played his own game. So he's also telling you that like you must choose your battles, because you need to win the war. So as he's making those chess pieces, he's moving around the X, he's telling you, hey, there's some things. He looks like he's about to do something, and then he backs off and he stops, because the message is, don't take a step until you've calculated the risk. You have to do risk assessments, not out of fear, but again, it's about strategy, because this is a spiritual war. And on the other side, I mean, this guy is so amazing. He's so awake. He's so awake, and he was the perfect person for this time. I will go into this even more, but it's just, oh my God, like, they're raving on the other side. They're having their own Super Bowl party, because this was so much bigger.
Why you whispering?
Now, why are people mad about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show? But before we start, make sure you like, you comment, and you repost this information so we can get this out to as many people as possible. Give thanks. The Kendrick Lamar halftime show has had a lot of people in their feelings. We have to ask the question, why? Let's take a deeper look from a metaphysical and spiritual lens. Give thanks. Also, this is for educational purposes only. Give thanks. The first thing is this. People wasn't expecting a message. Most people want hype, a feel-good performance. But Kendrick Lamar was bringing truth, culture, power to the people, and unity, and exposure, exposing that which is not in divine order. He didn't just entertain, he took the time to challenge the narrative, the false narrative. The Uncle Sam symbolism definitely struck a nerve. He started the show with Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, a direct shot at American power and control. People got uncomfortable because Kendrick is exposing the game. Now, the diss track, They Not Like Us, was a bold move. Now, Kendrick Lamar used the biggest stage in the world during the Super Bowl to air out the rap beef between him and Drake. Some people saw it as messy, others seen it as a form of musical genius. But spiritually, he was cleansing energy, making sure everything was in harmony moving forward. Kendrick is forcing people to think, and unfortunately, a lot of us don't want to use our brains. Some of us want to remain asleep in the matrix, not being aware of what's truly going on within our country, within our community. And Kendrick Lamar is showing us that there's more to what we can see. There's more that needs to be shown and exposed in order for us to truly be enlightened and to be liberated as a people. Now, Kendrick just didn't perform. He made history. When an artist like him starts to shake the table and starts to expose things, that's letting us know a shift in consciousness is happening and will continue to happen. What do you think? Was Kendrick out of line? Do you think his message was powerful or messy? Make sure you leave a comment down low. And remember, the only way out is in.
Yeah, I know what people used to, but it's Kendrick, man. It was no surprise he was doing the Super Bowl. So what y'all expecting? Hey, let me know what y'all think about his breakdown.
After Humble, Kendrick goes right into DNA. I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. And that means it doesn't matter how much conditioning and how much brainwashing America places amongst Black people, greatness and resilience will always be the result. Yeah, there's trauma, but there's always triumph. Right after DNA, Kendrick gets into Euphoria, which is one of his diss tracks towards Drake. And Kendrick did not waste any time with being petty because he's already wearing an A minor necklace. He's letting it be known. After that, Kendrick goes on to perform Man at the Garden, where he's underneath the streetlight and surrounded by his boys. After Man at the Garden, Samuel L. Jackson comes on to say, I see you brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct one life. Black people are highly surveillanced in America. The obsession with Black people and Black culture is unreal. So when he says to deduct one life, that to me means to unalive, get rid of Black cultural leaders such as Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, and the list can go on and on. After that, Kendrick goes on to perform Peekaboo. What they talking about? They talking about nothing. Kendrick then goes on to talk to his Black female dancers where he says, I want to make a move. I want to play their favorite song, but you know they love to sue. He's definitely talking about that white woman Drake. And also keep note that on the field, you also see an actual game controller, the PlayStation game controller. Kendrick then slows it down by performing his songs with SZA, and Samuel L. Jackson comes out shortly after and says, that's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants, nice and calm. Don't F this up, and Kendrick goes on to perform Not Like Us. He starts off by saying, 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. After slavery was abolished, 40 acres and a mule was a promise that was made to free slaves from the government, which was 40 acres of land and a mule so that people had their own governance of their lands and their resources, but that promise was never made. Kendrick goes on to say, yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Black people, Black culture are the most influential people on the planet. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. This goes outside and beyond of just America. Black people, Black culture is influential. As he's performing Not Like Us, his dancers lay out like this on the field and underneath the streetlight to represent the outline of Black bodies that have been unalived. Kendrick then continues to troll Drake on one of the largest stages on national television. And I already spoke about this in my very first video, so you could go check that out and the symbols in that. But this is what I'm also living for. All in all, I hope that you learned something from this 2-part series. And also, if there's anything that you notice, leave it in the comments. I want to keep the conversation going. Kendrick is a genius. The symbolism is iconic, and I'm just so, so proud.
I gotta say, it's real cool to see everybody different take on this one show. Like, everybody breaking it down from different angles and extracting different things out of it from their own perspective. Like, that's what's up. That's what art, that's what real art is. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be thought-provoking. It's supposed to cause a reaction. It's supposed to cause a reaction. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. Alright, y'all, so what y'all think about that one, man? That's part 1. I got another one coming at y'all, but it's a wrap on this one. But we can link up on the next one. Till then, we shine like one sun, because everybody is everyone. Concept.
Welcome to the Concept Vibes channel, TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. I just wanna let you know you're welcome to the Concept Vibes channel, TikTok reaction show. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Put your comments down below. Much love to all the viewers out of it, yo. This here is a TikTok reaction show. Don't give you the contents of this episode.